My girlfriend wanted me to pay for her vacation so she could discover herself and another man. But all she discovered was that she had nowhere to live. When she returned to the city, she found herself homeless. A few hours ago, I got home after a long flight from the Caribbean. I've had time to think about what happened, and even though I know how I feel about it all, I want the opinion of people who aren't involved, who don't know me or her, to tell me if I'm in the right or if I'm really the bad guy here. I've been dating my girlfriend, well, I guess she's my ex now, for 3 years. We met in college, and after graduation, our lives aligned pretty well. We both got jobs relatively quickly, but since I started working earlier, my career took off a bit faster than hers. This allowed us to take the next step in our relationship, moving in together. A year ago, we rented an apartment in the city. It wasn't extravagant, but it was comfortable and perfect for two people building their future together. Until a few weeks ago, everything seemed fine. Like any couple, we had our differences, but we always talked things out, or so I thought. This past year has been stressful for both of us. Between work, the responsibilities of living together, and adjusting to adult life outside of college, we decided it would be a good idea to take a vacation, a break from everything. Just the two of us in a paradise-like place. The idea was to clear our minds, relax, and enjoy each other's company. Since I've been earning more than her, I decided to cover the costs of the trip. I paid for the flights, the hotel, the activities, the meals, everything. I didn't mind at the time because I wanted her to enjoy it as much as I did. After all, this was supposed to be something special for both of us. The trip was incredible for the first few days. We relaxed on the beach, went on tours, and ate at amazing restaurants. Everything seemed like a dream. But then, the night before we were supposed to return home, she dropped a bombshell. She told me she needed to stay longer. She said she needed space to think about our relationship and figure out what she wanted in life. She explained that she wasn't sure where our relationship was going and that this trip had made her reflect on a lot of things. She said she felt like she needed to be alone for a while, but assured me that once she returned, everything would be fine between us. She just needed time. I was stunned. We were in paradise, having enjoyed the vacation without any issues, or so I thought. And suddenly, she hits me with this. I didn't know how to react at first, because her request sounded like a veiled breakup. The worst part came when, after telling me all this, she asked me to pay for her extended stay and her return flight whenever she decided to come back. She said she needed this time to think and hoped I would support her in this process. Seriously, who does that? I had already paid for the entire trip, absolutely everything, and now she was asking for more. She wanted me to fund her extended stay at an expensive hotel in a foreign country and pay for her return flight whenever she felt like coming back. I told her no. If she wanted to stay longer, she could, but she would have to cover those expenses herself. I had already paid for our vacation and had no intention of spending more money on what felt like a farewell party for our relationship, one I wasn't even invited to. The conversation got tense after that. She accused me of being materialistic, saying a good boyfriend would support her decisions, and that my refusal was a sign that I didn't care enough. I tried to stay calm, but I was furious. I told her I had already paid more than enough, and that if she needed to discover herself, she didn't need to be in the Caribbean to do it. I offered to return home together and suggested she could take the time she needed in our city, but she insisted that staying there was crucial for her process. That night, we went to bed without resolving anything. I was emotionally drained. I woke up early to go to the airport and return home. When I got up, she was already awake, sitting on the bed, but we didn't speak. I packed my bags in silence and left the room without saying goodbye. I knew things weren't going to end well, and there was no point in arguing further. I took a taxi to the airport and tried to clear my head. Even though I felt betrayed, I knew I had made the right decision. At the airport, while waiting to board, I got a call from her. At first, I didn't want to answer, but I did. She was screaming on the other end, furious. She asked how I could leave without paying for the extra nights and said the hotel staff was kicking her out because she didn't have a paid reservation. The situation was simple. The reservation ended that day, and she didn't have the money to cover the additional days she wanted to stay. She accused me of being a bad boyfriend, of abandoning her in another country, and of being selfish and cruel for not helping her when she needed it most. I told her she knew my term from the night before. I wasn't going to pay for her extended stay, and if she wanted to stay, she'd have to cover the cost herself. She responded with more yelling, calling me a terrible person for leaving my girlfriend without basic necessities. She accused me of forcing her to return with me because, without paying for the room, she had no choice but to leave the hotel and rush to the airport to catch the flight we had booked together. The most absurd part of all this is that I knew her credit card was maxed out. We had discussed it before. Yet, she still pressured me to pay for those extra days, even though she knew she couldn't cover them herself.